Well, good morning everybody. Welcome to another webinar. It is Tuesday the 6th of August. That is right. First week of August already. Welcome everybody. Just give me a yes if you can hear me nice and clear, and you should also be looking at the Forex Factory calendar. Good morning everybody. Just to let you know guys, while you're typing the Y in there, that you can hear me and see the screen. This is YouTube Live and there is typically a 10 to 15 second delay. So if you do have any questions, post them in the chat, or you want me to look at a currency pair, put it in the chat, but it may take 10 to 15 seconds for me to receive that response. So the purpose of this room is to review the opportunities that meet the rules outlined in the educational material at freeforexeducation.co.uk. And good morning Peter, Mikkel, Marcus, Anthony. Marcus, hope you're still having a nice holiday. Not too sure if you're still away or you're back at home and work now. Hope you had a wonderful time. So I've got a few currency pairs to run through, but first of all let's look at the Forex Factory calendar. We did have some Aussie dollar news out at 5:30 this morning. It made, I was actually up at that time, I was up at 4, and it made for some interesting movement up and down, 30 pip spikes here and there for a good hour or so. No real news out today that would stop me from taking any trades. We do have some minor news out here. We've got an FOMC member talking at 5 o'clock for the dollar. What does interest me though is at 3 o'clock in the morning GMT +1 time we have New Zealand news out. So if you are in any New Zealand trades, Euro New Zealand is a key one for me. That one really becomes a mover in the wee hours of the morning in the Asia session, and so I will not be holding any trades, any small trades if I'm in any, for the New Zealand. So let's move the Forex Factory calendar back to its correct position. Marcus still away, enjoying your holiday. Okay. I'm a little bit jealous. But just to let you know guys, I'm actually away for a week at the end of August. When is it I go? Oh, curse the short-term memory. The wife deals with all of it. I'm only away for a week. I'm on a cruise and it's only local. It's only around the Med. But it's unlikely I'm going to be able to do any YouTube lives. I will try and do the quick hit videos. It all depends how good the internet is on the ship. Same time zone that I'm in now. But if the internet is no good and it doesn't let me record the charts and upload a YouTube video, then I won't be able to do it. So you may not see me for that entire week. But I'm hoping that the internet will be good enough, because as I say, it's only local, it's only around the Med. So not going to the Caribbean, that's not until Christmas. So apart from that then, let's look at a few currency pairs. Are you guys looking at anything at the moment? Do you have anything on the radar? If you do, post it in and I'll take a look at it. If not, I will run through some of the trade setups that I'm looking at. I will actually start off with Peter's trade idea, which is the CAD Swiss. Pete posted this in as an idea into the chat. There are pros and cons to his trade idea. It's a head and shoulders, so let me just bring it over. Okay, CAD Swiss. So this would have been an opportunity for me, but it's not going to be, and I'm going to talk through why. So bigger picture here, consolidation guys, isn't it? Look at this this area that's been respected. You probably got to look at the weeklies to see it respected, but you know, this is just look at this kind of movement, and if we zoom in, you actually have a back pattern here: X to A to B, B to C, CD completion. And what you could do is highlight the wicks, drop down the time frames, and look for a rotation pattern. Now I think Pete posted this in based on the 60. The problem for me here is that on the 240 we've actually violated structure, so it's not going to be a trade setup for me, but I'll show you what he's looking at, and it was on the 60 and it was a potential head and shoulders. So we've got quite a nice swing in the market just here, which is what we want to see for a head and shoulders, because it is a pattern after all. We see a move lower, a pullback, a move lower, a pullback. Now we have not put in an initial structure high, And if this is valid for you, as I say, it's not going to be for me, but I would look down here in the wicks. You could look for a rotation pattern, 3-bar reversal, another head and shoulders, whatever it may be, and look for that rotation to the upside. And you know by now I like adding multiple strategies together. This would have been one I would have been all over, but we did violate structure on the 240, and it does make the head and shoulders invalid for me. But on the dailies, obviously the pattern is on the dailies itself, so if that's valid for you, I would personally look for a conservative entry down here. Look for a double bottom, maybe even a 26.18, and look for a chance to get involved with that trade as a good 70 pips up for grabs, if again it is valid for you. We just go back to the dailies. We have gone oversold on the dailies. We've seen a bit of a reaction here, so even though we violated there on the 240, you could actually see a move to the upside here. So not a bad find, Peter, not a bad find. I will move that off to the side for the time being. Good morning, Khan. Let's go and take a look then at what currency pair should we do first. Euro pound. I don't think it's going to produce what I was hoping, but we will take a look at it. We'll take a look on the dailies and zoom out. So euro pound, from this point we've watched this for several weeks. We don't very often look at this currency pair, but several weeks ago we were looking at this major rally here. We spoke briefly, somebody was short in here, and I said it wouldn't be for me. You know, we hadn't come up to the tops. We'd come up a little bit further, a very small retracement, and then boom, we'd rallied through this major level of resistance. So did we see a pullback? Well, we did see a pullback, but there was no entry for me here. But what we've then done is we've seen another push higher, and if we zoom out, is there still room for this to go higher? Well, if I put a structure level on just there at the close of the candles, and my trading, I typically, near enough in everything, play for the closes of the candles. It's very rare I play for the highs, which is the wicks, and then I front run it by a few pips. So there is a little bit of room here to the upside. So if we just zoom in and just take a closer ganders at this, then we had this rally. We saw a pullback into that structure level and a new high. So as we drop down the time frames here, I'm expecting to see several areas here, this entire area where we could potentially get long. So let's drop down to the 240. Here on the 240, you can see that clearer. If you remember as well, guys, I think I posted it in the chat. I was saying that this could end up being a triangle. 1, 2, we was waiting for the third touch and then a pullback here. If you remember, we never got it. Instead, we just blew right through. But we can simply look at this then as a trend continuation trade, and this is now a pullback into structure. So as per the educational material, there are 3 areas we can look to get long. There is the first chance entry. This is my favorite type of entry, because what typically happens after a very bullish run and a long run and a shallow pullback, we tend to see long extensions and shallow pullbacks. So I repeat, I do this near enough every time. Long extensions, shallow pullbacks, long extensions, shallow pullbacks, long extensions. These are higher probability trend continuation setups. So I'm going to be looking within the first chance area here for a double bottom. If not within the candle bodies themselves, which is this area, I'm going to be looking for a higher high, higher close. And because we are actually nearing the highs up here, we do tend to run out of momentum before we just get to the highs, don't we, guys? We never usually just rally all the way there. We usually, as we get close, start to run out of momentum because we're entering that major structure level. We're starting to see people take profits. There may also be people selling it just before the structure level, being quite aggressive. So we do start to see price struggle. So we may then see the last chance entry, which would be a rotation pattern down in this area. Let's go and take a look at the 60. Here on the 60, we can make out that there is some internal structure just here. So that is a possibility as well. And so guys, let me turn that off. It's an alert for a potential setup. Just 1 second, let me check which one it was. So handy, these alerts. Don't even need to watch price. Euro pound. Okay. It's the one we're talking about. Ah dear. I hope everybody had a great weekend, by the way. I know it's Tuesday, but there was no webinar yesterday. The markets were dead. I was quite happy just to let the markets settle down anyway. Obviously, last week being up 164 pips on Thursday afternoon, and then the two big pound pairs lost because of Trump. So if anybody knows Trump personally, and could you give me the heads up if he's going to do any of that unscheduled tweeting and talking to the news again, I'll be sure to exit all my positions. I had a great weekend, to be honest with you. Went out on a boat on Saturday. I've got some family over here at the moment, so we all went on a 4-hour boat trip, put sun cream on all the kids, sun cream on all me. Apart from my back, I meant to say to my wife, can you put some cream on my back? But she asked me to do her back first, and then I forgot. I was busy putting some cream on the kids, and so 4 hours in the sun with no sun cream on my back. So I've not been in the sun since the weekend. I'm all right now. I've got a good tan. Morning, Stuart. So here as well, then we've had this nice move higher, a pullback, a move higher, this small internal level of structure, and then a new high. So this could be an area here on the 60 where we could look for some form of entry. What I want to do though is run through the list of things, the checklist that I look at for entries. So I look at, do we have anything like a harmonic move or an AB equals CD pattern? Well, we may have that on the 15-minute. Is there an advanced pattern? I don't think this is going to be valid for a bat on the 15, but we can look at that. We can also look at psychological numbers. You know, I'm a big fan of psychological numbers. And I'll also take a look down here at the RSI as well. And just looking at this, there isn't too much here. There's no psychological number. There's no RSI confirmation. We can look at one last thing, which will be some fibs. So from our swing high, swing low to swing high, we've just come right now into a 382. Yeah, and there's not going to be any more fibs here. So maybe from this leg, swing low to swing high, you got a 618 a little bit further down as well. So let's go and take a look at the 15 then, see if it offers anything juicy. I think this is a harmonic move, not an AB equals CD pattern. Yep, harmonic move. So from our swing high to swing low, we can go ahead and duplicate this, move it down, and you can see that we need price to come a little bit lower for this to be filled. We may have a 1618 extension. It might not be quite far enough. Let's see. No, it is. We've got a 1618 down there. 1618. And where did that 382 come in at? It was this leg, wasn't it? It's this lower leg. Okay, so we've got a couple of fibs in that area. We've got a 382 which is being tested right now, 1618 for that harmonic move as well. What else? What other confluence could we have? Yeah, that's a shame. This here isn't a 382. That's a real shame. It could have given us a nice back pattern there as the entry. If you don't need a 382, I personally do. Yeah, I do, so it's not going to be anything there for me. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens here, guys. See if it gives us any kind of entry. I am going to need the 1618 tested before I can even look for an entry here. There's no RSI confirmation. In fact, this kind of dribbling to the side like we're seeing at the moment is not the type of RSI I like to see. We'll wait and see what happens though. We may go oversold. You never know, we may have a double bottom or some form of entry down there. Let's go and take a look at the 5. Some of these currency pairs we may have to load a little bit more data as well, guys, because we are seeing new lows on some of these currency pairs. Some lows that we haven't seen for quite a number of years. Here on the 5. Not too much here on the 5. Nope. Nope. Okay, so any questions on the euro pound, guys? If we do get an entry down here, stops are going to go underneath the outside return and ATR below here. This is the euro pound, so I may give it an ATR plus 2 pips, just depending how big the stop loss is. When the stop is around 20 pips or so, I like to give it an extra couple of pips. And first targets, retest of the highs. Second targets, retest of that higher structure level. In fact, it's very close here, isn't it, guys, for this higher structure level. So it may not be worth going for secondary targets, or it may just be worth going for a retest of this higher level, however you want to play it. But we will simply monitor that then on the euro pound. I'll move that out of the way and we'll keep an eye on it. Let me scrub out the euro pound and we'll take a look at another currency pair. Pound CAD. Let's do something a little bit different. Pound CAD. I've had my eye on the pound CAD for quite a while. Now I don't think it's going to be something I can enter and hold, but we could see a breakout here one way or the other. Morning, Martin. So you're looking for a reversal pattern, higher high, higher close, 15 minutes. Bring back over the euro pound. So you could look at a simple trend continuation trade here. Yeah, if you're going to get the higher high, higher close, I would wait for the RSI confirmation. And I'm going to need the 1618 tested here as well. Let's go back to the 60 a minute. Yeah, this is going to have quite a big stop loss if you're 14, so you're looking about there. Well, 26 pips of risk. Yeah, you could look for a higher high, higher close once we've seen the completion of this harmonic move. The RSI confirmation as well, I would like to see that, or something like a 3-bar reversal. Yeah, if we wait for a higher high, higher close on the 60, which would be obviously better, the problem is you're probably going to end up with the higher high, higher close being all the way up here. That's probably going to be your risk, and that's probably going to be your raw rewards. So yeah, it would have to be on the 15 minute, that one. On the 15. So, pound CAD. This is a beast, an absolute beast, this. This is the structure low here, isn't it, guys? This is the structure low, and we've been moving very directionally since we saw the highs up here. Very, very directional movement. And if we zoom in, look at what we saw a couple of weeks ago, directional movement and sideways movement. This is either a sign of trend continuation or a reversal. Now, we haven't come into structure lows, so my thought is this would be trend continuation and we could see a move to the downside. So I would be looking for breakout patterns. If we just zoom out though, this may be better on the weekly actually. I never go and check the weekly, but you're going to be able to see this better here on the weekly. So you have a big Gartley pattern, X to A to B, B to C, CD completion. And the problem is that here on the weekly, we've already come in to structure lows. You can see that we've come in to test the closes of the candles. The RSI is oversold here at around 10, and you could see a big move to the upside based on this advanced pattern. Now if you're a weekly trader, I doubt that many people are, but there's a look at that, not even 800 pips, 797 pips up for grabs. Yeah, you might get a nice reversal here, and in 7 or 8 weeks time, maybe a little bit less, you might bank 800 pips on that trade. However, if you believe that price can come lower, then you do have, as mentioned, a chance to get short. So directional move, I would highlight the wicks just here and look for a shorting opportunity, and we can drop one time frame lower to the 240. No problem, Martin. Can't say, but pound can go further down and top up position every 100 pips. Yep, pound can go lower. So this is what I'm looking at. We have a couple of things. So first of all, you have a double bottom right here. Okay guys, so double bottom is a rotation pattern, indication that we're going to go bullish instead of bearish, so that's my concern if I was playing for a breakout to come lower. Now if this side here had not tested the closes of the candles, then we could have had something like a flag pattern. My concern with buying or selling this up is that yes, we have a double bottom, but also if I was buying it up, we haven't as yet made a violation above this level right here. So we've got no confirmed break above, close above, so there would be no 2618. I'm actually looking at this as though this is more of a channel, and rather than playing the bullish breakout or the bearish breakout, look how well this channel has been respected. So if we drop down to the 60, it gets a little bit uglier as we drop down the time frames. Not held quite as nicely here on the 240, but you can drop down the time frames and be aggressive with your entry maybe at one level. Down here guys, look at the tests you've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This was a good area to get involved with the trade. And where we'd play for? Well, you could either play it from one side to the other, or maybe a retest of these highs. So I don't really have a bias. I'm not too sure if we're going to go bullish here or we're going to go bearish. Just reading price, look at the number of tests, the number of holds here. You could have got a very nice hold down in this level and a small amount of risk for a decent amount of reward on this trade. So we're kind of in the middle of nowhere now. I would wait to see if price comes up to this level and see if it gives you a rotation pattern. Remember, within these channels we see rotation patterns all the time, don't we? What's this guys? Double top. What's this guys? Another double top. What's this? Left shoulder. Right down here, if you can also make it out, there's a double bottom. Yeah, right shoulder. Retest of that level. So and there's a few double bottoms here as well. So these channels, as I do say quite often, if you can get involved with them, are great areas to look for those rotation patterns. They do happen all the time. Problem here is obviously we've had quite a lot of news out over the past few weeks, and I mean, like this here, you may have even been stopped out of this if you got involved with a double top because of looks as though it was news just spiking everywhere. But it's a good indication that we're in this channel, guys, and we can look for a retest of this upper level. Or if you do trade the pound CAD frequently, oh, it's not valid. I thought we had an advanced pattern in here, but we don't. This leg here was longer than this leg. Let's just go and take a look at the 5 range. Pound CAD is such a mover that you can drop down to the 5 range on this and really get involved in some directional or even trend continuation moves. Yeah, not too much here. Any questions on the pound CAD? I thought I'd bring this in. If we go back to the 240, we'll wait and see what happens. If you think that this is going to be a flag pattern, well, you can then look for price to come up to this level, this highlighted area. Look for that big rotation pattern. If it does provide a rotation pattern up here, I think I'm going to be very interested in that, as long as we hold structure. Because again, I have no real bias here, whether we're going to go bullish or bearish. We're struggling to go bullish, but we do have the double bottom, so we'll wait and see. Any questions on the pound CAD, guys? I am in a few trades this morning. Those of you that received the signals, you can see that we're in 2 trades. I'll run through those later if we have time. One's up, one I think now is down. Typical. typical, but we'll wait and see. Let's go and look at something else then, the euro dollar. I was looking at this morning for a potential, well, there was a potential long and short, so I stayed out of it because, again, no real confirmation as to which way it was going to go. So let's start off on the dailies, and if you guys are looking at anything on the euro dollar, please let me know. Please let me know. Just let me load a little bit more data here. Oops, too many zeros. 2,000 candles, around 6 or 7 years of data should be plenty. You can see the euro dollar has been pretty ugly. There's not been any real nice movement here on the dailies, but what we have done now is we do have a confirmed violation to the downside, and we're seeing a pullback. So let's put a structure level on at the closes of the candle lows and the wicks, and we'll have a look to see if it came into a structure level, and that's the reason why we're seeing a bullish move. There's a little test just here. We've got this, and we've got that, and we've got a few areas here as well. So that's very likely why we're seeing a bullish bounce. And we've actually seen quite a lot of momentum here, guys. We put in a lovely bearish candle, followed by a nice hammer, a nice pin bar there, a higher high, higher close, and a big bullish higher high, higher close here. And we're starting to see a little bit of rejection. This is the daily, so we've got quite a long time, 14 hours until this candle closes, and we could see a big bullish move, or we could see a big bearish one. We have just come into the wicks of this internal structure level just here. So let's drop down to the 240 and have a look. May take a minute to load, guys. Oh, there you go, it's quite quick. Cipher pattern. Does anybody trade cipher patterns in here? Because you have a valid one. You have X to A to B, B to C, CD completion up here. So let me reload this chart again. There we go. Completion is at the 786, and you can see we've hit that completion right now. So if you're a cipher pattern trader, you've got a short. You're probably not got a great reward to risk now, so I would wait to see if the market goes higher. If you believe price can go a little bit higher though, to potentially retest this triple top up here, 1, 2 and 3, then you can drop down the time frames and have a look for a trend continuation move, because we are moving very directionally here, and with directional movement, guys, we can be more aggressive with trend continuation. And what I really liked about this was this internal level of structure right here. And you can see we've come down into that level, and if we drop one more time frame to the 15, we already had a second chance entry, which was a higher high, higher close, but because of the cipher pattern, it was not something I was interested in. So when I looked at this, I was looking at this morning at 5:30. We had the higher high, higher close, and but as I say, because of that cipher, it wasn't something for me. If this is a valid double bottom for you, a valid retest, you did have the RSI confirmation with divergence, and if this is again valid for you, I would look for a retest of the highs. If not, well, then you have a selling opportunity as mentioned on the cipher. So a buying and a selling opportunity. It's just unfortunately I don't have any real bias which way it will go. If the cipher wasn't there, I would be interested in buying this up. Let's go and take a look at the 5 and see if that provides anything. On the 5, nothing here, guys. Go back to the 15. We just had the 15-minute candle close, and you've just had a higher high, higher close there as well. So once again, for the second time, you've had structure held, and it's now put in a higher high, higher close. again, if it's valid for you, and it's perfectly valid, but my concern is the cipher. Stops need to be an ATR below the outside return, which is 8 pips. That's going to make you 111.86, and a retest of those highs just here, minus a few pips, giving you a very nice reward to risk. 16 for 44. You could even have second targets up here at this triple retest. I wouldn't be shooting past that level. That would be the furthest point that I would shoot for. So yeah, mixed bag. This cipher may not even be valid for you guys. We only had one candle here and one candle up there to make the B leg. So it may not even be a valid cipher for you guys. Cipher's valid here on the 60. So what a shame. Any questions, guys, on the euro dollar? I don't really have much else. If we violate this level of structure, and we have a higher probability of coming lower here, so a higher probability of the cipher pattern going to hit targets. If there's no questions, I will move that one to the side. Okay, it needs to go over to the left. Another currency pair. Let's go and take a look at something a little bit different. The Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie, guys. Okay. There was a potential long here. It is still valid. Okay. Euro Aussie. Does anybody have anything on here? You can see our head and shoulders from the last few weeks we've been talking about got blown out of the water. We've just seen a great big rally. And if I highlight the wicks just here, we could see price come down into this area. The RSI is oversold at 87. I think I'm going to have to load more data. Yep. More data. Makes me uncomfortable doing this because we're in areas where we've maybe not seen price go to for the last 3 years. I have 1,000 candles loaded, which is 3 years, and yeah, I don't like loading more candles. Obviously we've got to. Price does move up and down all the time. This is the structure high just here. So this is the very high, and you can see that we have just come into that area, and look where we closed. We closed right on that structure high, which was also the 16600 psychological number. We also have the RSI, which was oversold, sorry, at 87. And you could see from this point then, because this is a major structure level, look at the size of the rally you had up here and the retracement that you had. You could see a fairly decent retracement here, you know, as a minimum down to this level, maybe down to this point, maybe all the way down to this level as well, because it was a major level of structure. Let's go and look at the 240. A nice double top in that zone would be nice. Problem here on the 240. Oh, I hate this. Every time I change time frames, it changes my view. Okay, so here on the 240, there is no valid double top, unfortunately, here on the 240. This looks as though it's violated structure. Let's just look left. Yeah, so no valid double top here for me, which is a shame. Let's go and look at the 60. Okay, here on the 60, this is what interested me. So we had a move higher, a pullback, a move higher, a pullback. Then we move to this point, and you can see just here we have a small amount of structure. So this is the entire outside return. So the pullback, the move higher, and we're seeing a pullback. And as mentioned before, when we're near the highs or we're at the highs, we tend to see steeper or deeper retracements. And so I would be looking for, in this outside return a last chance entry. So this would be the last chance entry just here, and you could drop one time frame lower to the 15 and look for that entry reason. And right here we've got a triple test. You do have the RSI confirmation, so we went over sold and we've got divergence on the third test as well now, so that's a decent sign. What concerned me was that it was actually failing to make new highs, was breaking lower. So, but if you look left here at structure, you can see we've held structure. This may be now a valid opportunity for me. What would be the risk here? Stops an ATR below the low, so that'd be 16, so about 33 pips for 123. Let's go and take a look at the 60. You can see the 60 putting in indecision candles. Really, there's a bit of a battle going on here. Could we see that move higher? We are at a psychological number, 16500. Just let me go and take a look at the 240 as well. So yeah, we could see a move higher, we could see a move lower. What I do like, if I just go back to the dailies, guys, I'm sorry if I keep swapping from one to another, look at the size of this candle, this big bullish candle. And this could just be today a small retracement before it gets sucked all the way back up and actually goes on to make new highs. You guys have probably seen this before. I actually like this type of trading. So great big bullish momentum candle. I prefer it when it does not come into structure. And then you just see the next candle retrace. You get involved on the lower time frame on the retracement, and then you wait for it to get sucked all the way back up. So that's what could happen. So we could see, yeah, bearish move and a bullish move here. We could see one or the other. Have we put in a higher high, higher close? I'm just going to check out the 5, guys. Seeing if this trade is it's certainly valid. I just don't like the fact that we have failed to put in new highs. No VS1, okay. On the 5 range here, I'm just going to drop to the 5 range. We may have a double bottom that's occurred just down in this level. You look just here, guys. Yeah. And you can see here in the 5 range, this just gives you a different look of price. You can actually see that double bottom here. You can see another double bottom and then another double bottom here. So indication here that we're actually holding this structure level. So give me a minute, guys. I'm actually going to go ahead here and get involved with this. I just need to load my other charts, so just give me a second, if you will. And this will be a trade that I'll enter. It's about 33 pips for 123. And okay. This is the only problem about not having these as my live charts, the ones that you're looking at currently, is that I have to revert to my live charts. So we're looking at the Euro Aussie, aren't we? Just give me a second, guys, if you will. Okay, so the ATR currently is 15, so we're going to make 69. Let me try that again. 15, 67. I'm going to play for a retest of the highs here. Okay, and if you give me a minute, I need to put this out as a signal. I didn't think we'd be getting involved in a trade today, but It's a nice opportunity. All those retests on the 5 range as well, guys, which is what I like, all those double bottoms. Clear sign that we're holding that structure level. Okay. Oh, come on, don't freeze. Yep, it's frozen. So the only problem when I do YouTube live is it won't let me do a screen capture. So just give me a minute, guys. I'm going to see if it comes free. Okay, while we're waiting for this, guys, because it is completely frozen, my PC and my mouse as well and YouTube live. Okay, it's doing something. It's doing something. Just give me a yes if you guys can still hear me, or is it completely frozen for you guys as well? Come on. Are you going to work? Okay, yep, you can still hear me. Sorry guys about that. Okay. Let me get rid of that. That was a nightmare. That was a nightmare. Okay, I just need to put this out as a signal, guys. This trade that we're in. So, long Euro Aussie, last chance entry, double bottom. Okay, what a nightmare. We will wait and see what happens with the Euro Aussie. Are we going to break to the downside, or are we going to break to the upside? We will wait and see. I would like to see break to the upside. It would be nice to be at my drawdown. Okay, so that's the Euro Aussie. We will wait and see what happens on it. Let's just go back to the 60 and 15. And I'll move the Euro Aussie to the side and see what happens with that. Okay, what time are we? 10:43. We've got time for a few more setups, don't we, guys? Let's just go and check, see how our trades are doing. Pound dollar, well, we're up on the pound dollar, the double bottom, and the head and shoulders, and we're down on the pound Aussie. Both of those trades are max risk trades for me, so we will wait and see what happens with those. It would be nice just for one of them to win. I'm not greedy. They both have a 2-to-1 reward to risk, so if one loses and one wins, I'll still be 100 and odd pips up. Let's take a look at something else then, guys. Again, if you do have anything, please let me know. But we've done the CAD yen, we've done the Euro Aussie. Let's take a look at the dollar yen. The last time we looked at this, guys, was on the 15, and we was involved in a high and tight flag all the way up here. And this is where the data changed, and we had to manually exit for -7 pips. And from that point, look at the look at the big bearish run that we've had. So let's go and take a look at this on the dailies. And again, I'm going to need some more data loaded here. 2000. Here on the dailies, what I would say is that we have put in a new low, and price can come down to this level. So we've got this structure level and this structure level here. So I would think price could come a lot lower, and there's an awful lot of pips still up for grabs here, around 180 pips to get involved with this trade. If we look further left, now that I've loaded 2000 candles, yep, I would only be looking for shorts here. So you can see price has already come up to retest structure, and we're seeing a rejection once we'd seen that big bullish move today. Let's go and look at the 240. Okay. on the 240, you can see price put in a great big bullish candle here, and then the last 4-hour candle that closed was at 10 o'clock for me, and we've seen a bit of a rejection at that zone. Let's go and take a look at the 60. On the 60, not too much here guys on the 60. So we had a big bearish run, pullback, a move lower, looks like there was a breakout pattern here, move lower, pullback, a move lower, and then we've broken to the upside. So we've actually violated the trend here. So on the 60 there wouldn't be a trend continuation opportunity for me. Let's go and take a look at the 15, even though my overall bias here is going to be short. On the 15, you've had a double bottom down here, a rally, a pullback, another rally. It's not going to be a flag pattern for me. Let's go and take a look at the 5. Looks like you may have a pattern here, you may have a back pattern, but not too much on the dollar yen, just a short bias really. Nope, no back pattern either. No back pattern either. Anybody got anything on the dollar yen? If not, we'll move that out of the way. Just let me have a quick look at the euro pound. And the euro pound now, we looked at this at the start of the webinar, so if you've only just joined us, we was looking for a long opportunity, and you can see that we've completely violated our harmonic move. That would be invalid. So would the 2 fibs we were looking at, and we've put in a great big bearish candle. We have still held structure, so now I would be looking for a last chance entry here. Did the RSI go oversold? Yes it did. So I would be looking for a double bottom here guys for a last chance entry, and playing for a retest of the highs. So we will keep it on the radar, and let's look at something else. What else did I have? We looked at the pound CAD, we looked at the dollar yen. We'll take a look at the New Zealand yen, because we do have a double bottom there. There's a potential 2618 setting up. So let's go out to the daily time frame, and if I put a structure level on at the close of the candles and at the wick lows as well, we can see within that zone it came into the 6900 psychological number, and the RSI is massively oversold here guys. We are down at 6. Down at 6, so we could see a bounce here to the upside, certainly up to as a minimum this lower structure level, which has not as yet been tested. And if we look left for structure, I'm going to have to load some more data again. This is a pain, and I don't know why my chart keeps changing every time I load data. Okay, give that a second to update guys. Is anybody looking at anything on the New Zealand yen? I think we could see a nice bounce here. There was something like 100 pips up for grabs, but the 2618 was not valid. Let's just look left. Okay, I don't have enough data loaded, so let's drop down the time frames anyway. We'll go to the 240 and see if there's anything here. Marcus doesn't have anything on this. You can see the retest here, the little retest that's occurred. RSI actually went down to 3 with divergence. You do have now as well, this candle here was a confirmed violation, so you could now wait for that pullback and look for that 2618. You can see it a little bit clearer here now. And down on the 60, I don't think we'd had the break above, close above on the 60. Oh yes, you had, just here. This was the break above, close above, so a 26.18. Well, you came close, but hasn't as yet played out, so you could still wait for that retracement and look at getting involved. You would have quite a big stop loss here, around 80 pip stop loss, but your targets are going to be up here and around 100 pips of reward. So if it's valid for you, you've got a 26.18 there, you're just going to be waiting for the retracement. We'll take a look at the 15 as well. But not too much going on, guys. We're in a couple of trades, as mentioned. I will be keeping a close eye on some of the other currency pairs. There have been a few winners over the past couple of weeks that I've not been able to get involved with. I just haven't been able to sit by the computer because of my neck. This is the first day I'm actually feeling better, first day in quite a few weeks, so I'll be monitoring the other currency pairs, guys. If you just look at what's going on here, we had a move higher, a pullback, a move higher, a pullback, barely a move higher. We're starting to run out of steam now, so you could get that retracement for that 26.18 trade and a chance to buy that up on the New Zealand yen. And I'll move that out the way as well. Move that one out the way as well. What else? Aussie dollar CAD, there's nothing really to talk about there. Aussie dollar, nothing there. Euro yen. We will take a quick look at the euro yen, guys. We may as well call this the last one because there isn't that much going on, if I'm completely honest. Actually, let me do the pound yen. Yeah, the pound yen, there was an opportunity on the pound yen, 26.18. I'll run through that first of all. Okay, going out to the dailies. We had a harmonic move and a confirmed double bottom. On the dailies though, you look at the RSI here, we're down at 10. We did come down and just tap, or came very close to the 12800 psychological number. We go to the 240. You can see that retest right here. Right here, guys. So a lovely pin bar followed by a lovely higher high, higher close. You had the RSI confirmation and you had this harmonic move. Now we did actually spike past it a little bit, but if you actually look at where the candles closed, which was just here, this would still be valid for me on this time frame. So I would be looking for the market to go higher and hit as a minimum the 382. And if we do drop down to the 60, you could still be waiting for that 26.18. So you can see price rallied up. We violated the V point just here of the double bottom, and you could be looking for that pullback for that 26.18. It does look as though at the moment we are pushing higher. We'll take a look on the lower time frame, see if it's providing anything. But this would be a risk of around this much for a reward of around that much. And the risk, well, it's going to be a 100 pip risk. That's the problem with this. Let's go and take a look at the 15 and see if it's Ooh. Okay. Okay. What I'm liking here, guys, can anybody see it? I say very often that channels form double tops, and they are a sign that we're entering a channel. And a channel is what forms when we have a breakout pattern. See that, guys? 1, 2, 3. That is valid for a touch. And 4 was down here. Could you use this as the entry to play for the 382? Yes, you could. But I would also take targets at the 127. Yep. Or ascending channel, okay. It could turn into an ascending channel as well. let's go and take a look on the 5. Did it produce a double bottom down here, which would have given us our lovely entry? And look at that, guys, right here. Missed. Damn it. I looked at this this morning as well. Didn't see it this morning. I was up at 4 though, mind you. So again, a key sign, I do say this time and time again, is look for those rotation patterns. When they form not at structure, it's an indication that we're starting to enter a channel, and this is what a channel is. This is a wedge, so we've got a triangle, we've got a flat top, and we've got this ascending trend line down here, and look, it also provided another double bottom down here. What do you think we can wait for now, guys, as an entry? Chuck it in the chat. What do you think we can wait for as an entry? Yep, I hate missed trades, especially winning ones. A 26.18. We could wait for the market to pull back into that 61.8. Enter here, stops, go an ATR below this double bottom here, giving us a nice area to hide stops behind. What would the risk be on this trade? Okay, about 20 pips. You just know it's not going to turn, don't you? You just know it's going to rally and hit targets. That 127 is up here, so it would provide you a nice reward to risk. This is one of those instances where you may then want to hold for the 382 of this bigger move. The problem is it's very rare that I go for extended targets when we have a breakout pattern, because we do see very often it just tap the 127 and reverse. But as a minimum there, I would take half of your position at that 127. So, yep, it's a nice opportunity. Let me just double check that we did get that touch. Ooh, hang on guys, hang on. Yeah, because you could have it here based on the closes of the candles, so we did get that touch. Okay, so we will monitor this and we will see if we do get the pullback. It would be nice. It would be a nice 20 pips for 62. Let me make a note of that, guys, so I can put it on my other charts. So we're looking at the pound yen 5-minute breakout pattern. Well, guys, that's pretty much all the currency pairs. If I do get an entry on this, it'll be sent out as a signal to those of you that are subscribed. That will mean that I'm in £3 pairs, and you know that when I'm maximum amount of risk I can have on any currency pair is 3, and I do like at least one of those to be in decent profit, and I think the pound dollar is in decent profit. Just one second, let me load this for you so you guys can see. While I'm waiting for that to load, how's the pound yen doing? Ugh, pound yen is doing horrible. I would prefer the pound dollar to win anyway. The pip value is worth more. So, okay, let's load. Okay, there we go. So we're 54 pips up on the pound dollar. We're probably down, I don't know, 30, 40 guys on the pound Aussie. Not too sure if anybody entered that. So this would be a lovely trade if it came off, playing for the head and shoulders, 240 pips, and we could lose 100 on the pound Aussie. But we're not out of that trade yet. We'll wait and see. It would, if that lost and this won, I'd be quite happy to bank 140 pips on just 2 trades. Yeah, Stuart, it would be a nice nice entry if we could get it on the pound yen. But again, guys, just to emphasize this, double tops, double bottoms, you spot these early, that's when you can get your decent entry into these breakout patterns. I actually got up at 4 and I was here till 6, and then I went back to bed for an hour. And I don't really have an excuse because this happened at 10. It happened an hour ago, actually at the start of the webinar, so there's my excuse. So yeah, we'll wait for that retracement, guys. Keep an eye on the pound CAD for a potential rotation pattern up at these highs. I would love to see a nice spike up into these wicks, a nice rejection candle, and I'd love to see a head and shoulders on the lower time frame. Head and shoulders, you tend to get lower time frame double tops that appear within the head and shoulders, so we could, if we get a nice setup there, get quite a small amount of risk for a decent amount of reward. Okay guys, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm going to load this chart on my normal PC and monitor to see if we get an entry on this. In fact, this will just be a limit order, just to let you know, guys. I'll just put a limit order down here. Any questions, guys? If not, we'll wrap this up. If Pete said, if someone mentioned pound yen in chat at start of webinar, yep, if they had have done. Blame Pete. Pete's always to blame. And yeah, we're in the Euro Aussie. I forgot about that, aren't we? In the Euro Aussie as well. That thing just may break to the downside, but it's valid. We've had a triple test now, it's held. And we'll see if this week we can get ourselves out that bloody drawdown. Alright guys, I'll see you in the chat. Apart from that, thanks again for joining me, and I will see you in the next webinar.